Hey, welcome everybody to the live stream of the Mike Seibert Radio podcast, powered by Poddex. I am your host, and this week, as you can already see on the screen, I'm used to this podcasting thing where it's like I do this lengthy flowery intro where I casually introduce my guests and then they come onto the scene via audio, but video, we're already here. So we can see that we've got a full house. We are chatting with the creators of the comic book Starlite, and we're talking about the Kickstarter, the now successful Kickstarter for issue number 2. We talked to Greg and Travis about 6 months ago when the world was seemingly a very different place. So what I'd like to do is we're going to talk about where the project is for Starlite, how things have been going, and there it is. I didn't even get around to saying, and when the doorbell goes, Greg is going to have to run because he is super busy down at the Retro Emporium. So he's do you need to run, Greg?
That doorbell is just the chime saying that people have walked in the door. If the doorbell that sounds like a house doorbell goes off, that's the, oh no, I have to go because Ann is telling me that I have to be up front.
Stop talking to your friends and actually come help with the business that you're helping running. So yeah. just in case that doorbell does run, what I would like to do to start off the show is let's go around the room, because every podcaster, in this case live stream, is somebody's first show. So what I would like to do is start with some introductions. Just introduce yourself to the folks and talk a little bit about what you do on the book. And since we're waiting for that doorbell to go, Greg, let's start with you. Why don't you talk about and tell folks where you are also.
All right, so my name is Greg Smith. I'm one of the co-writers on Starlite, the Starlite series, and I am in the back storeroom of the Retro Emporium, and it's a store that my wife and I own and run downtown Kent. It's hopping on a Sunday, which is not normal, and that's why I scheduled this with you all to be I was agreed to be here on this at 2 o'clock on a Sunday. It is never busy. We've had people lined up outside 15 deep pretty much the last 2 days, and it is ridiculous because you open up a music store in the back of an area that used to be an arcade, and there you go. People want to come in and look at music. So but outside of that, super excited to be able to talk about Starlite because we've had just a ridiculous wave of awesome success on that first 24 hours. What the heck happened there? Again, it's just things just piling on top of each other all week. What's going on?
Absolutely. And I think that's some of what we'll unpack as we go, because it's been a roller coaster in terms of what you guys have been doing with Starlite and with the project between the first Kickstarter, then the first Kickstarter for the second issue, and now this new revamped Kickstarter for issue 2. And I mean, even on my side, watching things as they developed was kind of crazy and kind of nerve-wracking. I could only imagine what it's been like for you guys. But let's just in case the doorbell does have to ring, let's keep going around the horn, and let's Travis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, because it's interesting, because now when you and I first talked, it was all on audio, and it is so different and interesting seeing us all here on video. I'm still trying to get used to it, even though I've been doing this for the last few months. But Travis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and talk about your part in the book?
I'm Travis. No, I got a mustache show. Anyways, so I'm one of the writers with Greg of Starlite, and I did the I'm the originator of the characters for Starlite. That's what I did for Starlite. I wrote Starlite with Greg. I originated some ideas with Brett, and based on some crazy concepts. And then we all did a Kickstarter. I don't know what else to add here. I write some horror and I do some screenplay doctoring. So
Perfect. Very good. Just a quick get to know you sesh, because again, every show is somebody's first show. But let's move on to the bottom of the Brady Bunch corner. And Brett, when we did the episode 6 months ago, talking about the first issue of Starlite, it was me and Travis and Greg, and we talked more about Tiger King than the book. I think World was a different place. But Brett, you didn't have the opportunity to join us, so I'm really stoked to have you on with us now and to hear more about the what comic books really are, is the art of the book, and talk about it from that angle. So Brett, if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your part on the book.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Brett. I've been making comics for 20 years now, professionally. Some titles that people may be aware of, the biggest one is probably Surrogates, which got turned into that Bruce Willis movie 10 years ago by Disney. Also Southland Tales, quite the cult classic now, and I did the comic prequels for that, and I've done comics for almost every comic company out there, but these days I've been appreciating more and more just kind of being able to do your own thing, and very much a callback to when I first started in the late 90s, kind of doing the DIY self-printing thing, and that's come really around 360 into a much more viable platform than it was at the time. Then when you could just print a comic and hope that there were people that would buy it through Diamond, because that was basically the only way you could do things. But now you have all these platforms to generate revenue and get things rolling in a way that you don't have to be dependent on a publisher to make happen.
Awesome. And I think that's kind of a bit of what we're going to talk about here, and certainly what we talked about with the first issue of Starlite and how that book kind of came to be. So before we get into the Kickstarter for issue 2, let's do a very brief rewind and let folks know that might be just jumping on the stream now. What is Starlite? What kind of comic book is it? Where did it come from, and where's it going? I'll just throw that out to anybody. You guys can fight over who wants to answer.
I always wait for Greg, because he usually goes in the sales pitch mode right there.
Right?
I was waiting for Travis because Travis had it all written out the other day.
You did. I wrote out an answer for this.
See, you had the answer.
I had an answer.
See, you guys
It's right here. It's a comic book. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, that's right. It's a comic book.
That's true.
You guys have had some practice on this now too.
It's a comic.
You guys have been making the pod rounds, and it's been awesome. I love it.
We have notes to remind us how to answer questions correctly, and I'm still like, wait, what is our comic about? Brett's like, these guys. I'll go first, then. Sure. It is a comic book which explores the idea of not becoming superheroes, not getting that opportunity that was promised to you as in your childhood, because these were two child superheroes. They were kid superheroes, teaming up with all the mainstream heroes. They were on TV. They had comic books about them. And then one day they said, when they hit teenage life, they said, you don't get to be superheroes anymore. You don't get to mature and join, like the Avengers or something. You don't get to mature and become some independent superhero that everybody likes. You get all that taken away, and you have to go to high school now. So Starlite really is about actually 3 characters, right, who were promised a better future. Just like all of us were. When we were in high school, and you knew the guy that at your high school could play guitar really well, and everyone thought he was going to be super famous someday. And then the guy that sat next to you thought he was going to be a famous writer, and she was going to be a model. And she had all these opportunities, and then all of you end up working at like Walmart, and trying to get ends meet. And so this explores what happens to that with superheroes a little bit, right? And then And then we just twisted it and threw transdimensional spider wizards and space pirate cats into the mix. You know? So there's 3 characters. You have the 3 different ways to approach it, right? You have the 2 brother and sister superhero team. The sister got her superpowers at 5, the brother got it at 9, and that creates 2 different environments for their epic transition as a character. So the little sister, her name is Sarah. She's very iconic now at this point. She always had superpowers. She can't remember life without having superpowers, right? You have the older brother who's 9. He can remember life before having superpowers, and he is a superhero fanboy. He's going to make it. He is that kid who's going to be in Van Halen when he grew up. Right. And then you have Roger, who was this very respectable journalist who ends up getting thrown into the mix, who had a promising career. He'd been with all the big networks, and now he's making YouTube videos, on conspiracy theories and stuff. And so his promise is gone too. He never got that anchor desk job. And we take these 3 characters and throw them into the, craziness of transdimensional spider wizards and space pirate cats. So there you go. That's Starlite.
I love it. Yeah, I talked about this a few months ago, the last time we were on, but it's like that's still the pitch, with the transdimensional spider wizards and the cat pirates. It's too much. I love it, and I really enjoyed the first issue. We had you guys on the podcast 6 months ago to talk about the Kickstarter for that successfully funded. The books came out, and life was great. And now we're at a time where we have successfully funded issue 2. So we're going to kind of jump around a little bit. But what I would like to talk about next is let's talk about the Kickstarter for issue 2 and kind of what the response has been. And just kind of like the response to the new Kickstarter and just kind of where we're at with the Kickstarter for issue 2.
Greg?
Yeah, I mean, like, if anybody's been following along, we did launch a Kickstarter for issue 2 prior to the successful one. And that one, Travis like, whoa, no, not that one. We don't talk about that one.
But see, I was kind of trying to dance around.
I noticed that too. Like he's dancing around the first Kickstarter of issue 2, which might be good to mention just because it's really interesting to learn about.
Exactly. I didn't want to not talk about, but I wanted to kind of focus on, what's here and what's current and then kind of backfill that info. But go ahead, Greg, the floor is yours. You have the conch.
Well, no, but I mean, it's important to take a look at that, because if you don't take a look at the Kickstarter that launched that didn't fully fund, then we wouldn't have the Kickstarter that we launched just a week ago that did fully fund, and we wouldn't have the success that we had out of, I'm not going to say a failure, but out of a learning experience. Like Brett said, we learned so much, and we were able to take all those things, and the team really pivoted all those things. I know Travis had a lot of sleepless nights in which he was reworking different things and messaging at weird hours. How does this look? How can, will this work? And I was like, dude, I'm sleeping, man. I gotta go work tomorrow. but we worked through a lot of stuff and figured out like how we could really maximize that. There's like all those algorithms that Travis was tracking down and trying to figure out like how things were going to really work. He's crunching all the numbers down and really getting it down to what we set out for our first goal in that last Kickstarter, and what we set out for this goal. We're able to really maximize bringing across all those stargazers, all our stargazers from book 1 in the launch of Kickstarter 2 to 2.0, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Yeah. But to bring them along and make it actually, fully function and fully work, because we crushed that goal like in ridiculous amount of time that we really honestly as a team were not thinking was going to happen. I know I woke up the next morning and was like, what happened in the middle of the night?
We were definitely hoping for the best on that one. Like, I mean, having done the one and then seeing it not succeed, and kind of getting some really hard lessons on how some of the algorithms work on Facebook and how news cycles can really provide challenges and stuff that we learned enough doing it and having failed that we were able to figure out how to make it much better this time around and not end up with some of the compounding problems that we ended up with the first one. It almost was like dominoes. Once you had the one thing kind of going wrong, like it added to all the others. And so if you don't get off on the right foot on a Kickstarter, it can sometimes be challenging to recover. So getting out of the gate on this one, really hard, and so many people came back after having done the first time and just believed in our project enough to give it a go a second time, and we blew past what we did on the first time around in less than 24 hours that we did in like a month last time. We did in 24 hours this time. So I mean that was obviously like what we were hoping for the first time we tried this, but now we're on a good path.
Awesome. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I can give a little context to your listeners, because I was listening to what we were all saying, and I think we should give some context real quick to what that means, which is our very first issue Kickstarter hit 10,000 in a month, which is unheard of for most new comic books. Most people hit around 2,000 or so who are doing these little independent floppies. So us hitting 10,000, right? We're like, yes, success. We know how to do this. We are going to hit it out of the park. Now we have all this. It's almost an allegory, really, for Starlite, right? Because here we are. We're early on. We have all the success. Now there's a promise that we are going to have a successful series of Kickstarters through issue 7, because there's only 7 issues to Starlite, right? And we're just going to hit it out of the park every time. We just have to reuse that formula. So we had all this promise. We did everything exactly the same for issue 2, and it bombed. I mean, it bombed pretty damn bad. And it flatlined on the second day and just held a flat line for like 2-3 weeks. And that was painful to go through. And we had to reach back and go, okay, well, there was a lot of things we had to learn as they were just discussing. So I wanted to give some context that the lesson there really was, we thought we knew what we were doing after such success with issue 1. And we had to really come back and rethink everything after issue 2. And I'd just like to note that our success also has a lot to do with the Kickstarter community. Other creators joined us and helped us and taught us every trick they could think of to figure out how to do this again. So, Kickstarter community in comics is amazing right now. Just shout out to all the creators on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, well, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to get a little granular on this stuff, because I know a lot of folks that listen to and watch my show are creators in some way. They'll be comic creators or podcasters, or so folks that use the Kickstarter platform. I think there's lessons to be extracted from your experience, first for the massively successful Kickstarter for issue 1, like you had just talked about, and then the not successful first Kickstarter for issue 2, and then now coming back to this new relaunched Kickstarter for issue 2 that's been an unstoppable juggernaut. I think even more so than the Kickstarter for issue 1. And I guess the thing I was going to ask, and I think we've touched on this a bit already, the umbrella question is, what happened? But I think part of it, and we talked about this 6 months ago, is like you had the hard date set for the launch of issue 1 Kickstarter, and we were like in the very early days of the COVID and the pandemic and the quarantine, and we didn't know what the world was going to be like. I think I even made a smart aleck comment, just like, oh, hey, you picked a heck of a time to do a Kickstarter for a book. And it seems like that as this journey has gone on, the world has continued to change. and it seems that's it seems like the campaign for the book has changed along with the world. So I guess one, what happened, and then what how do we get to the success that we have that we're talking about today?
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
when we watched the first one, we went back and forth all like up until we launched it. Like, is this the right time? Is this just going to be, is this going to go nowhere? Because we just didn't know what was going to happen, how people were going to be interested in even buying comics, whether they could. We just didn't know what to expect, and so we went into that one. I'd only done one other Kickstarter. I did with a friend of mine the year before, and that one had been pretty successful. So I just took a lot of the knowledge that I'd gained from that one and put it over into ours when we launched this one. And we were just like, let's give this a shot. What's the worst that could happen? If nobody wants it, nobody wants it. And that's what it is. But we were lucky enough that there weren't like a lot of other Kickstarter comics going on at the time, and so people just were into it enough that we had a successful time replicating what I'd already done with Onefall the year before.
Right.
But when we launched the second one, we were unaware that some of the things that provided the success with the first one had changed. Facebook had largely changed their algorithm for how reach was concerned, and they were honestly like one of the things that made the first one so successful was Facebook, and then all of a sudden that wasn't working anymore, and nobody was seeing anything we were doing because of the changed algorithm, and so that was providing a challenge that we didn't even know we were up against until halfway through the Kickstarter, and we're like, oh, this is what's going on. And as soon as we fixed that, things got better, but it was too late in the process to really gain any traction back. And when it failed, it was honestly like probably a good thing, because then we were able to kind of take in the new information and process it and then come back with a better plan.
That was spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked already that the world's like Brett, like you said, I think you guys hit at a unintentionally fortuitous time where folks were like, oh, hey, I'm getting ready to be stuck at home. And I think when the first Kickstarter for issue 2 came, it was like, I think folks had kind of gotten their Rona footing a little bit, where we had kind of tricked ourselves into thinking that things were kind of back to normal. So the things that, caught our interest, 3-4 months prior, may not have this time around. And I think now with the relaunch of the Kickstarter for issue 2, we're kind of back in that spot where it's like, oh yeah, that thing that I was interested in 6 months ago, it's super dope. And I'm in a spot both creatively and financially where I'm excited and able to support this again. So I'm super happy for your almost instant success. I mean, funded in 24 hours. Congratulations, guys. That's incredible. Now, am I understanding this correctly, that you guys figured out how to beat the
front door
algorithm? Is that we're talking about here with the success?
No, we definitely didn't learn how to beat it, but we learned how not to completely fall on your face on it.
Oh,
that was
okay.
the big takeaway from it was that one. But the amount of balls in the air that you have to keep track of when kind of putting together one of these things, whether it's like figuring out how to even do advertising or just getting the word out to people that this is a thing that's happening, like it's a constant challenge. And like big companies have lots of people in place to like do these things, and we're just like trying to figure this out ourselves. And some things work out really well, but we definitely have learned some things not to do, and hopefully going forward we won't make any more of those mistakes. But, that's just part of being like a new publisher and stuff, and something none of us have done before. I mean, I've always just been a creative, working with publishers and letting them handle a lot of that, and that like frees yourself up to do a lot of things, but you have to give publishers a lot in order to work with them. Usually, a lot of the rights to the characters, a lot of freedom in what you want to actually make, and so the fact that we can do this on our own is great.
That's awesome. I'm leaving all this in the podcast, by the way, just so we can see how busy things are down at the Retro Emporium in Kent. You need to go. It smells like Fruit Loops. The store's awesome.
Thank you.
I throw those plugs in where I can.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Real quick, do you mind if we address Nick Lindsay here? Just the first questions come up real quick.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm just going to hit it real quick. So Nick's asking, think anyone will confuse your comic Starlight with Amazon's TV show, The Boys Starlight character? No. Starlight is a character in The Boys. And yes, that was a consideration immediately when we saw The Boys that actually made a TV show, which is cool. But we don't have a character named Starlight in Starlight. It's unrelated to a character. So that's important to know. There's no blonde chick with outfit issues in Starlight. So no, we don't think there will be. And if there is, that's just something that happens because, words are the same.
I mean, if they do get confused, they're welcome to like enjoy our comic too.
Yeah. They should read it and see. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. See, there's the answer there.
But
yeah, I think they spell it differently too. I think they actually use the correct spelling, and ours is incorrectly spelled because of a point. Yeah, the title means something.
Right, and I was going to bring that up because like I remember when Greg told me about the book before 6 months ago when we did the first podcast before the Kickstarter launched. I started looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, there's other projects called Starlight, but with the other spelling. So I think having that unique spelling already kind of sets you guys apart.
Yeah.
So from there, so like, I want to get into kind of where we go from here, because like now we have issue 1 is done, issue 2 is coming, but it is a 7-issue series. So it sounds like perhaps this is I guess later on I want to, and I'm tossing it out there now so we can kind of think about it as we go, but I want to kind of talk about where we go from here, like what the future Kickstarters will be, kind of what how this project approaches completion and how that goes from there. So I'll let you guys think on that for a couple minutes, but I do want to kind of turn our attention to what's actually within the ongoing campaign for issue 2, because as of this live stream on Sunday afternoon of the 18th, you still got 24 days to go. So the campaign for issues 1 and 2 of Starlight goes through Thursday, November 12th. So there's still a lot of daylight between now. Now, obviously, you've successfully funded. You have 160 backers, 24 days to go. But what I thought we would talk about now is kind of the I almost called it awards. Thanks, Greg.
Awards.
See, it's stuck now. And I full disclosure, I have since done other interviews like this with other folks doing Kickstarters, and inevitably somewhere within there I'll be like, oh, well, let's talk about the award packages. Pause. You mean the incentives? What are you? Oh, yes, yeah. The the rewards that you get for Kickstarter backers. So basically, like, if you want the book, this is how you get it. You support it through Kickstarter. So even though it's successfully funded, it's a book that will happen. This is the only place where you can get it for now. But yeah, I just thought we would spend a little bit of time talking about. Oh, I selected that tier. That is no longer available. It's
Which tier?
I went for the variant bundle because I need that variant cover in my life. So yeah, I just happened to have the Kickstarter up on my other screen here, so I was getting distracted by scrolling down. But you have various tiers to the Kickstarter, and some of them include various versions of the book. Unless we want to necessarily go through every available tier, do we just kind of want to talk about the highlights of some of the things that are available in this particular Kickstarter? Oh, I see Brett has got the physical copy of issue 1. I have one of those on my shelf, and it's autographed. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I happen to know the creators of the book, so I was able to get the hookup on that. So, but yeah, no, I guess in broad strokes, let's talk about what folks can get when they back the project.
Well, I mean, the easiest reward, see, I said it right, reward. Is probably for people just getting involved with Starlite is the Raver Redo pack, which is issue 1 and issue 2 together physically. It's like $24. It gets you right in. It gets you both the base covers, and then for return people who are interested, we have a couple of variant covers. Actually, why don't Brett and Greg talk about the variant covers, and we'll come back around and talk about the rewards that come with those.
All right.
So, Brett, you can do pencils. Greg, you want to do Jenna?
All right.
This is awesome. Then I can be quiet and just stare at the screen and make faces.
I love it.
Brett, pencil.
Go.
Let's go.
So one of the things we're offering that we've never done, and one of the things that I've always liked since forever is sketchbooks. And so I decided one of the things that I was going to do was do a whole complete issue. So it's going to be issue 2, but instead of like fully finished color art in it, it's going to be replaced by all of the original pencils from that issue. So it's going to be a complete behind the scenes look at how all the pages started, like the starting point for all of them, all the sketch work that went into like the final art, and you can compare the final art to the pencils, and maybe somebody learned something from it. Maybe it's just like something fun that to see the process behind things, because I'm a big fan of DVD extras and all the process stuff that goes into making things, sometimes more so than the actual finished product. But I thought it'd be a fun product to put with it.
Very cool.
This Kickstarter totally has, there's so much room in this Kickstarter to put so many different variants and other things. This baby's got it all. I'm telling you, we got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So with Brett's pencils and all the different versions and stuff like that, you've got a variant cover. Jenna Ayoub has provided for us. It is in her cutesy artsy style that you can see in the Adventures of Gumball, Adventure Time, or the Amazing Gumball Adventure Time, that kind of thing that she's known for. And she did a really cool variant of Sarah with some things in the background when you look at the cover. So it's kind of it's kind of fun to look at and neat. So, and it's a departure a little bit from her other stuff because of this character. So it's kind of cool. We've got that, and it's our last Kickstarter. We didn't have a variant cover, and this one we did. So awesome. We got all these other variant things that are like all these other things that are added in here. So as we move through all of our
and one of the things I wanted to note that we managed to do is all Travis and Greg are in the Seattle area, and I'm in the Portland area, and we've managed to make all of our stuff locally. Like all the comics are printed right down the street from me. Go pick those up, and all the prints are made locally, and so we're very proud to offer something that is basically homemade, in our areas, and that we didn't have to outsource somewhere to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a truly independent book, which I think appeals to a lot of folks.
It's Northwest Fresh.
Northwest Fresh. On that note, both those variants are reward levels at $30. So there's a pencil reward level that includes the pencil cover, a regular cover, right? The digitals, a pinup for $30, or the Jenna IU cover, right? With the Jenna cover, the regular cover, and a pinup. But there's also a $49 level, which includes all the covers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, let me double read something real quick on that $49 level. But I think, if I am correct, I'm going to read it. I'm just going to verify I'm right. Yep, that's all the reward levels. The one thing we add that we have on this Kickstarter that we should bring up is you can add things out of other rewards after you click your reward. So if you pick up all the variant covers, but you still need an issue 1, you can add an issue 1 to that package.
Or add an extra copy of something.
Right.
Oh my
Got a
gosh.
friend you want to give a copy to? Yeah.
We have a reward level with some mini prints from Brett, but you can also just pick up one of the mini prints with any of the other packages.
What the mini prints look like?
Oh, very nice.
They're on pretty sturdy postcard paper.
So, this is the first time Kickstarter started to offer this. Now, it's a little confusing. Everyone who's offering add-ons right now, you have to go through a process to be a creator that can use add-ons. And then figuring out how to use the add-ons has been a challenge for all of us. We've all been communicating, in the background. Like, how did you do this? How did you do that?
So you guys have kind of become like unintentional veterans of the Kickstarter wars. You've gained a lot of XP, a lot of experience in a very short amount of time, and I think it's rad because like as myself, somebody who's supported several Kickstarter campaigns, it's cool to see it as a platform, Kickstarter, grow and develop to meet creators' needs. Like Brett, what you were saying, like with just additional copies. Like I've backed musicians where it's like, well, yeah, but I'm a backer, but I'd kind of like to get another copy also. Can I just add another copy? I'll gladly pay for it, but I don't want to necessarily create a new email address and back the campaign that way. It's like just let me get another copy. So I'm glad that functionality is starting to come in and make things easier, especially where you're on issue 2 of an ongoing series where there's already an issue 1, having that a la carte kind of kicker with issue 1, like, oh, I'm just now discovering this project. Oh, and there's a whole nother issue that I can get in on. I just add that to my cart and get caught up. And I think that's really what, for my observation, I think that's one of the things that's been kind of key to the success of this Kickstarter.
For sure.
Let's see. So, somebody was going.
You can expect we have was it 5 more issues to do after this, and you can expect a lot more variants from other artists. Mm-hmm. We've been talking to our friends. We're probably going to go variant crazy in the next 5 issues. Just crazy. The stuff we have lined up, blow your mind.
Oh.
I see Brett laughing. Brett knows what I'm talking about.
No, we've got some interesting things in the works with I've got a collaboration with an artist that I like that's very different style from mine that might be the variant on the next issue, and some really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And I guess from there that's a great segue into talking about what the future of the Starlite project is and where we go. So like I don't know a whole lot about Kickstarter, but like one thing I'm seeing is that I don't have a percentage in front of me. I was looking for the percentage of funded. It's like it's over 100%, and with 24 days still to go, and all of these cool opportunities that we were talking about for folks to get the book and the cool variants and all of the awards. Yeah. Anyway, I was what happens to that fundage? Does that kind of go forward to the next campaign, or I don't know if I'm phrasing it very well, but basically you set out for a specific goal for this project and you've beat and exceeded that. Does that influence perhaps future goals for future Kickstarters for future issues?
Yes. And I'm going to say something that the guys are. One of the reasons we are able to hit it out of the park is I have a better understanding of how to do the funding. And so, yes, some of the money when we go over is going to go to help make sure that we can continue to keep a low goal profile, right? The goal profile is now set at a much lower amount. It's very tight at the goal, right? And so now when we get funding over that goal, right, we can keep our next goal at that same tight level and hope to expand from there. Right. And that's something we weren't taking advantage of in the first Kickstarter. We were just like, oh, just do everything the same. It's going to be awesome. But now we're like, okay, this is the absolute amount we need. Everything over that helps make sure we can continue to do this as that absolute amount.
Got it. That's you perfectly articulated what I thought I was trying to stumble around and tried to ask. Because with going from issue 1 to issue 2, it was basically almost like a copy and paste thing. And I like that when you came back with the revamped Kickstarter for issue 2, it was a lower goal, and it's one of the things that I think fans like is buying into the enthusiasm when things are going well. Yeah. And we want to participate when things are going well and it's all very exciting, and we've got you guys doing stupid human tricks and doing horrible things to yourselves. And so in fact and that's where I want to go next. So like Greg, I noticed that you have a nice woolen cap on. How come you wearing that cap?
What because like I don't have any hair anymore. Because I shaved my head when we hit the goal in 24 hours. And also, I don't have any eyebrows. So people keep coming into the store looking at me when they see my glasses slide down. I have these like old man eyeglass catchers. Sure. And the glasses slide down and they look like, where's your eyebrows? And my grandma wasn't a fan. My grandma lives with us. She's 89 this year. So I was like, she just turned 89 like a week ago. She's 89 and she does not like this bald head. She was liking the fact that it was growing out. It looked normal. That and the chicken experience was not something that I want to redo again. Some stargazers dropped off at the shop here. Some local stargazers dropped off a can of chicken, canned chicken for us, for me to ingest. And as a food challenge, because in the last Kickstarter I was doing all sorts of crazy food challenges to try to get us up and away to our goal. And this one I just offered up like if we get this, I'll do this. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. That thing was disgusting. It smelled up my whole entire house. I smelled it coming off my body for 2 days because it once it's in you, it's in you. And
put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, once it's in you, it's in you. And the chicken comes compacted inside of the can, inside like a gelatin stuff. And when you open it up, and anybody that watched the video, it just poured out, and it was just like this can of chicken goo and jelly, almost like if you've seen the movie Ghostbusters, if Slimer had eaten a whole chicken and then processed that chicken and pushed it out his backside, and then I was to eat this chicken, that's what it was like, because it was the slimiest, not coolest, grossest thing I've had in a while. And I can only imagine, as we have more challenges coming up, this is not it was the first and not the last of a few.
I understand, and that's why I wanted to get into a little bit, because I'm glad actually that I've caught you guys at this stage of the campaign, as opposed to, because of scheduling or whatever, I wasn't able to get in on that first wave like my dude Steve Strout and some of the other cool podcasters that you guys have been. I mean, you guys have been making the rounds, and I love it. It's fantastic just being able to kind of get the word out there. But we were already scheduling when the Kickstarter launched, and then I saw that it funded in 24 hours, and I'm like, oh well, I guess our interview is just going to it's going to be less like, hey man, you got to back this project because it's so cool and these guys are awesome and support independent stuff, and now it's kind of more of a victory lap, like, oh, by the way, this is the only way you can get the book. But now we have the perspective of having done some of these stunts and telling some of these stories and talking about some of the things that might be coming up. Like for example, like when you guys did the first launch video, the first live video, I was like, I was watching you guys in the video. I was like, oh, Rave King's hair's getting long again.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's like, because it done grow back after the. It's amazing when you give somebody 6 months to grow their hair.
Well, I'm weary of shaving my head again for a couple of reasons. The main one is, I don't know if you watched the last time I shaved my head on video. I discovered I had a giant cyst on my head. I didn't know it was there, and that kind of freaked me out about shaving my head again. So we did something completely different this time, which I'm being really quiet and trying to hide right now.
Oh, it was a great video.
Should we talk about it?
Tell me
My
more.
grandma loved it.
Your G-mom watched me be crazy.
Well, she was like, when's he gonna put on makeup? She kept asking.
All right, so I put on makeup live. I did not do it myself. I'm trying to be. I'm not real good about my personal life, so my girlfriend's like, I should put on your makeup for you because you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, I don't really tell anyone I have a girlfriend. So I'm trying to get better about it. She's really working on me, because the Rave King thing, from that past. Anytime you're dating anyone, it's just drama for the whole scene. So my whole life, because of that, I've always been like, no, nobody gets to know who I'm dating ever. Never again. No one knows, don't hold my hand in public. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, and she's like, no, I'll put on your makeup. You can tell you got to do this. So just to note, that video was a very scary video for me, not only because I was putting on makeup, but it was the first time I was exposing some of my personal life in video, something I'm trying to, work through in life. Yeah. And I put on makeup, kept my mustache, and then I sang karaoke for an hour and drank a lot of vodka. So, it was amazing. I sang some Queen. Did I sing ABBA this time? I don't remember.
Yes.
To be honest, it was a little bit of a blur. I don't even remember going to bed.
Oh my gosh.
I want to say you sang, you sang, what did you sang some Rick Astley.
Oh yeah.
And you sang, what is that? I'm trying to think that it as soon as I say it, it'll get stuck in my head again, because it was stuck in my head like for 24 hours. It was the one you sang, the last song, like touching the oh man.
Was it Queen?
No, it wasn't Queen. It was
Well, we'll find it. There's a video. We can look it up.
Yeah, I was
Hey,
you doing Neil Diamond over there, a little Sweet Caroline, touching me, touching
you. Oh my gosh. We missed out.
See,
why didn't you do that?
That's got to be
the next video.
I don't know if you guys know I can't sing. And so,
you can sing. You can sing. It was great.
Yeah. And then we got a Britney Spears song I'd never heard in my life.
so I had no idea what was happening.
Oh my gosh.
Great. Look at my camera's out of control.
It's like we're taking a journey with you. It's an adventure. I love it.
Well, I flipped a coin over who was getting what room because me and Amberly have both things going on at the same time right now.
Sure.
And I lost, so I'm in the bedroom, and this is the only place to sit. So I'm
Got it.
Live video, great. Check out this headboard. Yeah,
It's looking good.
That's funny, and sitting on a bed can be comfortable for a while, but that definitely has an expiration date to it too. It's like I've tried to like sit and like read comics and stuff like that, like I did when I was a kid, and that doesn't work when you're a grown ass man. It is not the same. So it sounds like there's been some really cool, thrilling stunts, but I know Greg likes to throw various things out there on the social medias. You've talked about other stunts.
Yeah. Other stunts.
Yes.
We have something coming up. A date has not been locked in as of yet, but variant cover artist Jenna Ayub and myself are going to be doing a live food challenge. We are setting the menu, agreeing upon foods to be eaten and shown live. She and I will be eating. It's going to be weird. It's going to be gross. Also, she is. There was a couple. We had to go through a little bit of a list of no's and a couple of maybes. So
okay.
And she was like, well, I would do this because whatever. And I said, no, I'm not going to make you eat that. There's definite no's, no insects. And I was like, well, but I mean, like, I'm just joking. It's not. We're not going to go like Survivor, Fear Factor, or anything like that. Eat some. I mean, I might, but I mean, but that's normal because I mean, you go to a Mariners game, you eat like crickets.
Them. I mean, they're fine.
Travis is like, what?
Yeah.
They have cricket at Mariners games.
Back when you could do that kind of thing, yeah.
It's easy to forget. It's like, wait a minute, there ain't no Mariners games now. I mean, baseball's pretty much over for us here in Seattle, but even before then, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I trampled all over that and just made it even worse. But yeah, no, they had was it like deep fried crickets, and they had some kind of like curry powder or some cayenne powder, I think, or some such like that. It's I watch like some of the TV news people I occasionally work with eat some of those when they first rolled them out at the park, and they didn't look good. But anyway, so
it's normal.
So Brett, how have you avoided these stupid human tricks that your co-creators seem to have found themselves in? It seems to be you're the sane one of the group.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the sane one, but I do have to make the book, so I spend my time focusing on all of that stuff, which is a lot. But I'm also like really squeamish about weird foods and things, and like, if you're good at that thing, like I mean, I watched the Fear Factor stuff. Like,
sure.
I'm like, no way.
See, I'm with you on that, Brett. I get really I get the tummy tumbles whenever I'm watching like Survivor and they gotta eat like bugs and stuff like that. It's not my favoriteest thing. So I tell you what, guys, this has been a whole lot of fun, talking about kind of where Starlite kind of started and where we're at now and where we're going. And we are chatting with Travis and Greg and Brett, the creators of the Starlite comic that is available now out on Kickstarter. There's still 20 plus days left to back the project. The campaign goes until Thursday, November 12th. It's the only way you can get the book. You can get cool reward packages, variant covers, and I'm not doing it this time because I'm trying to do the thing. But yeah, if you want to hear, if you want to learn more about former if you want to learn about former child superheroes kidnapped by transdimensional space wizards and space pirate cats, then you got to check out StarlightKickstarter.com and check the book out. Guys, this has been an absolute blast catching up and, you know, kind of learning some object lessons in the crowdfunding space. And I wish you all the best of luck as you go forward. Before we part ways for now, I've been fidgeting with some of my Poddex cards. I have some selections from the Would You Rather deck. And folks that have been following the podcast know that Mike Seibert Radio is powered by Poddex. If you want to get these cool conversations starting decks of cards, head over to poddex.com and use my discount code MSRP10 to receive 10% off your first order. But I thought, since I had you guys here and we're having a lot of fun on the live stream, I had to ask you some of these would you rather. So let me do one more shuffle because I've been kind of futzing with them here. All right, we'll do one of those. I need to figure out how to get my laptop angle to angle lower so we could actually see me doing like close-up magic and things like that. But all right, so all right, I'm still here. Let's off the top. Would you rather your voice sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher? Would you rather? Let's just go clockwise. My clockwise. Let's start with Brett. Would you rather your voice sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher? Both are terribly. It's
not a good choice between either, really. But you're going to annoy people one way or the other.
Yes.
I'll go with Fran. Why not?
All right. So Brett's going with the nanny. How about you, Greg?
Oh man, I many nights up all night with Gilbert Gottfried. So and you know, teabags going wee wee in your water. So yeah, Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh man, I'm gonna go Fran Drescher, and then I'd become a stand-up comedian because nobody would believe a guy that looks like me sounds like her. I wouldn't even have to tell jokes. I would just talk on stage with her voice.
Smart.
That money.
That's a writer's answer right there. Very good. That's very smart. All right. So let's see. Would you rather spike the punch or Xerox your butt at the next office party? Office parties? What I mean, we're all working from home now. That's not even a thing anymore. So let's go the other direction this time. Let's start with Travis. Would you rather spike the punch or Xerox your butt at the next office party?
You know, I read recently that spiking the punch is now a criminal act and you can go to jail for it. So I would definitely spike the punch. It'd just be a cool story, you know, like, hey, I went to jail because I got my whole office wasted. It was great.
How about you, Greg? You think you can beat that?
I was thinking I was thinking that the criminal offense would be Xeroxing your butt. And I was like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to have a criminal offense. So I would spike the punch. And now Travis, he says that is now a criminal offense. And man, I am torn between these two things. But spiking the punch seems much more like more me. So yeah, spiking the punch.
All right. How about you, Brett?
Well, it can be a little dangerous to Xerox your butt. You can go through the glass and end up with a bunch of glass in your butt. So I would go with spiking the punch because I would probably drink most of it too.
We could totally share a cell.
I love it.
You're not fighting for other people. You're fighting for yourself.
You could work on the next couple issues of the book while you're there too.
Why not?
Hammer out them scripts. Work. All right, last one. I'm gonna do one more. Let's see. So, would you rather and we're going to start with Greg this time. This actually kind of ties in ever so slightly with the book, but would you rather be covered in bees or be covered in spiders?
Oh man,
bees or spiders? Geez. You're covered.
Jeez. You know, I would go for bees if they were like leaving honey on me, because that would be delicious.
That's how that works.
You know, that means they're puking on you, right? You know that.
Yeah, and that is great.
Like I all over you in your mouth. Bees vomiting in your mouth.
Yeah,
what if they're wasps?
Yeah, that's hot. Oh no, he said bees, not wasps. Wasps suck.
All right, bumblebees.
So
North American bumblebees.
Yeah. The card specifically says bees.
North American bumblebees.
So yeah, you could get those chubby, friendly bumblebees.
Yeah.
But yeah, bees or spiders. So you're all right. Very good. So let's go back up to Travis then. Bees or
specifically, I'll go European honeybees. Well, I've done it before.
What?
I've been covered in European honeybees. They're fine. So yeah, no problem.
All right.
I hate spiders.
That is not the answer I was expecting, but
yeah, I almost got a beehive this year. If COVID hadn't happened, I'd probably have a couple beehives.
Very cool. I've actually got a friend of mine that got a beehive. I want to say like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago. It was like, you know how like some of us.
Oh, you're cutting out, Mike.
Have picked up. He got into bees. I know next to nothing about it, but last time I was up at his, he's like, "Yeah, you see that way over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's where my beehive is." I'm like, "Cool, all right." So I don't know anything else beyond that. How about you, Brett? Bees or spiders?
I can't deal with spiders, so it'd have to be bees.
So I wonder, because I sometimes see weird subtext in the story of the comic. Is that why we're going with transdimensional spider wizards?
I mean, they are the villains, so yes.
They're not bee wizards.
Oh, good.
Spiders are scary. They're Have you not like opened up a closet door and like giant spider you're not expecting, or like flipped over a doghouse and like spider as big as your hand is underneath it? That is my childhood like memory and serious fear of like flipping over anything or going into a basement. I just freaking hate them. Like this store, the back room. Travis has been here. He knows the murder, aka murder room, where all the storage stuff goes. I'm afraid that is spider heaven. I don't like to go back there without the lights on, because like I know for a fact I'm gonna go back there one day, giant ass spider fall on me.
Oh my gosh,
big as my hand.
I got spooked just looking up reference to draw the transdimensional spider wizards. So like I don't even like looking at pictures of them.
Well, and I was gonna say like in your rendition of them, Brett, they are sufficiently creepy. So I think your reference paid off there, because cool. All right, so that has been selections from the Poddex Would You Rather deck that has 50 unique conversation starting questions to help you take your podcast interviews to the next level and keep your audience entertained. Go to poddex.com, and again, don't forget to use my discount code MSRP10 to receive 10% off. Guys, this has been a tons of fun. Thanks for taking the time. Before we get out of here, the Starlite Kickstarter, but I know you guys got several other irons and several other fires. Are there any other projects that you want to call out? Like I know Travis and Greg, you got various podcasting things. Brett, I'm sure you've got tons of other stuff going on as well. What else you got going on? Let's start with Brett.
Well, right now, just this week, issue 2 of 40 Seconds came out through Comixology Originals. I'm coloring that book with my friends Jeremy Hahn and Christopher Mitten, and it's a fun sci-fi book, kind of like kind of like a little bit, a little bit like a bit of Stargate with some horror elements, and it's a fun ride.
Cool.
And it's been a blast to color over Chris, and switching gears around to not just drawing, but also doing some coloring stuff, and that's what I got.
Cool. It's awesome when you get to stretch different creative muscles.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool. How about you, Travis?
Mostly I'm focused on Starlight. I've started working on the next book project, but you don't want to say anything about it because I don't have like the Osborne effect. Start pitching a product that isn't happening yet when we still got 5 more issues to go.
Right.
But yeah, I got another project lining up right now. We're trying to figure out how we'll deal with that. I think as we get closer to like issue 6 of Starlight, I'll start talking more about it.
Fair enough. Now, I don't know if I asked this as explicitly. Do you guys have a tentative schedule, or at least kind of you're going to do the remaining Kickstarters for the other 5 issues of Starlight? Like is it like a specific interval? Or are you shooting for dates?
I mean, we're doing what we can at this
Okay.
point. Like,
Got it.
I mean, this issue would be out already if the first time we'd done the Kickstarter had gone through. But we're looking at safely about at least 3 issues a year. That's safely something that we can do, and also make the book, but also do all of the production behind it, shipping, printing, like all that's making the Kickstarter itself is a very time-consuming thing. And,
yeah.
We spend a lot of time behind the scenes, just like on the Kickstarter part, and so it's easy to be like, well, as a publisher, you're supposed to do this many issues a year, but just doing this thing, we're looking at a safe bet of about 3 issues a year, so we'll be wrapped up in a little over 2 years from now, or a little less.
Got it. Very cool. How about you, Greg? What you got going on?
Well, let's see. We got Junior Braves of the Apocalypse. Still working on book 3. So the artist for that, Zach Lehner, is doing the art for that currently right now. So we don't have a current release date for that, obviously, because he's still working on the art. But when that does come out, we will, or when we get closer to that, we'll be able to talk about that. But we do have a role-playing game that has come out this summer in game stores, so people can jump on that. Is the Junior Braves of the Apocalypse survival guide, and it's in line with the Kids on Bikes rule set. So if you're a fan of Kids on Bikes or the recently released Kids on Brooms, it just falls right in line with those books and those game rules. So it's a really nice, easy to use, no barrier for who aren't gamers and stuff like that. They could just kind of pick up the book. You don't even have to read Junior Braves of the Apocalypse to just want to play a fun game that centers around trying to get through the apocalypse in your own neighborhood. So there's that. And as you alluded to, podcast, I do a podcast with my friend Saul and actually editor on this book, David Mayer. So Saul Perez and David Mayer and myself, we do Nerds from the Crypt, and it's a horror podcast, but we also talk about Kickstarters and other upcoming things that are out there for other social media, or not social media, I mean crowdfunding. And then do the can I remember the name of Funny Book Forensics with Dan Shevit, and we basically just we talk like we used to when we were in high school and college about comic books, but from a different perspective, because we a little aged and have a little more knowledge about life and other things. And then Travis, I'm surprised you didn't say anything. Well,
I was waiting for you. You always do the pitch on Narrative Gunslingers, so it's really good.
Narrative Gunslingers, where we talk about your favorite. We talk to your favorite creators or new creators to you about their favorite inspiring. Oh man, it's been so long since we recorded an episode. Talk about their inspiration, and Travis shoots them down. I mean, shoots them up.
What?
I'm sorry. What?
What is happening?
a family program. Come on.
No. Well, no. During Nerd Gunslingers, basically, we have a creator come on and talk about their favorite story that got them working in the creator, be it writing, art, podcasting, whatever it is, cosplay, anything like that got them into whatever it is that they do. And Travis and I talk about the narrative that coincides with that story that they brought to us. And Travis likes to find holes and shoots them.
It's a nice way of deconstructing that usually makes the guest hate us and never want to be on the show again.
There you go.
Or brings them back so that they can talk to us about their favorite thing even more vibrantly and fervently.
Take on the Travis challenge.
We have a few. We're actually going to be recording some more episodes where we have guests coming back to do those types of things. We had a couple of guests talk about Dune in the past, and we want to have those guests, two guests, come back to do two different guest takes on the story because they had two different opinions, and it was really cool. And we want to see what will happen in the Nerd Gunslinger Showdown.
Two guests, two furious. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Travis and Greg will just sit back and
let them fight.
Watch it happen. Yeah, let them fight. But we've had some fun stuff happen on there, and we actually from the last Kickstarter, we actually had backers back at the podcast level to be guest with us to co-host for a portion of the show with some of the folks, to be able to ask questions and stuff like that of our guests. So we're going to be recording those episodes as well. So.
Oh, how fun! That's awesome. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, like I said before, this is an absolute blast. I love kicking it with you all and getting caught up. So I'm really excited for future Kickstarters and for making this kind of an ongoing thing. It's always a blast. But be folks know. Well, I guess where we can find the Starlite Kickstarter out on the internet and social medias, and then by extension of that, how we can connect with you guys on the internet and on the social medias, and any other last plugs that you want to get out there that we might not have talked about already. Floor is yours.
Well, I was going to, real quick, I'll just do the StarliteKickstarter.com, StarLite Kickstarter.com, take you right to issue 2, and that domain name will be used for every Kickstarter going forward. So it will always lead you to the current Kickstarter for the current issue. Greg, Brett?
You can find me at That Amazing Twit and GK Wordsmith, both on Twitter, and That Amazing Twit on the Instagrams, GK Wordsmith on TikTok. So if you like the TikToks and the fun videos and all that other stuff, you'll see me doing stuff for Starlite. You'll see me doing stuff for Junior Braves. You'll see me doing stuff for the Retro Emporium. And most likely, if you want to see me in person, you can come down to the Retro Emporium, downtown Kent.
You should go there right now, because if you look through the door right now, you'll hear the doorbell go off. So.
Oh God.
Bong bong bong. Oh.
Yeah.
How about you, Brett?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brett Weldele, Weldele. You can also find my watercolor prints on Etsy. Just search my name, and yeah.
Very
and
cool.
Comicsology. You can buy One Fall and 40 Seconds.
Ed is telling me that it's got to be about time to wrap up. Any parting thoughts?
Buy our comic or die.
There it is. May not
or
include.
we die.
We die. There it is. You live, die, repeat. I guess I don't. I am mixing up my my metaphors here, and that will do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening and watching us out on Mike Seibert Radio. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and you can check out the full show archive out on SoundCloud. And tune in to the After Hours live stream, which is separate from this live stream, every Monday night, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Like, share, rate, and review the show. Let us know what you'd like and what you'd like to hear more of in the future. Mike Seibert Radio is powered by Poddex. For Mike Seibert Radio, my name is Mike.
Greg.
Somebody can jump in on that. I don't care.
Oh. I'm trying.
You know, I think last time too, in the last 6 months, I thought I had gotten better about telling folks on the front end, oh, by the way, when I close out the show in like an hour or so from now, I'm going to say, my name is Mike, and then we'll go around the horn and you could say your names individually as well. And then we'll just close out that. What do you got there, Greg? It looks like you got some Beast Wars, maybe. You got some Transformers.
It is. Yeah.
I love it. That is a giant transformer you got there. I think you have other transformer stuff at the this because the last time I was there, I was like, ooh, I want to buy this stuff, but I cannot right now. And I fear if I go back, I would not be able to resist the temptation again. So all right. Well, it has been real. It has been fun, but our time runs out. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out all this extra time, and we will catch you somewhere down the way.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
You're very welcome, and we will do it again. And until next time, make sure and wash your hands, wear a mask, and of course, make good choices. Yes, jug of alcohol. Got it. All right. Later. Goodbye, Internet. Are you sure you want to finish the stream? Yes. I will hit okay.